So what was the top performing booster box from 2023? I'm not just talking, of course, Scarlet and Violet booster boxes were released in 2023, but of all the booster boxes out there, which ones performed the best in 2023 for your Pokemon Sealed booster box investments? Let's check it out right after this. Alright guys, I'm Andy with Northwoods TCG, and thank you for joining me, and Happy New Year's. That's right, we're already into 2024 here in this Monday special event for you guys. I haven't done a video on a Monday in a long period of time, but I thought this would be a good one to just round off 2023 and get into 2024 knowing which booster box was the best investment from 2023. And I'm talking all of them. I'm not just looking at Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon. I'm not even talking just Scarlet and Violet. All of them. I went all the way back to base set, WotC era, all the way through, and put together their metrics, put together the highs and lows of every one of these booster boxes that I could find, and we went through and we broke them down high, low for the year, and the percentage gains on them from beginning, so from January 1st to December 25th. So just a couple days short of the end of the year, which is fine. That's the best data I could get to give you 1 year's look of these particular cards. But we're going to talk about which ones have done the best here moving forward. Now, there's really no rules. Anything's available. Any booster box that was put out there is available on this set. Now, there are some. So, base set first edition, there aren't any sales really data that's available in the last year. All these sales are really done private, and they're kind of just notifications that are put out there. I mean, you could look at auction houses, but even some of the auction house information isn't really truthful. So, without any real eBay TCG player or any kind of real data where sales are locked, it's really hard for me to put that one on a particular list. So base set first edition and shadowless, because it's hard to tell shadowless boxes sometimes. So we don't know if we're selling shadowless or not until they're open sometimes. That's another factor. So I left those two off. We're starting right with base set, just unlimited, and we move forward. I do have first edition of the other boxes, just because there is some sales data on Jungle, Fossil, Team Rocket. All of them have sales data in the last year. There are some that had no sales. So like Legendary Collections had no sales data this year. Nobody sold a Legendaries collection booster box here in 2023. It just didn't happen. So that data is not going to be available. If there was, it might have been a private sale once again, and it's not available on this list because there is no hard number data. Some of them only had one sales point. If there's only one sales point, it's really hard to say that there's a high and low. So it's zero regardless. So it ain't going to make the top 5. But that's just the data collection that I got on this. There's probably about 5 or 6 booster boxes that really had no sales or data on them. But other than that, all the rest of them are filled in. We've got all the information. Got a top 5, and we're going to go through them right now with number 5. All right, guys, here we are at number 5. Thanks for joining me here, and we're going to be looking at Unified Minds. That's right, the Unified Minds sealed booster box investment is the number 5 most performing set in 2023. Started out the year at $342, and it ended the year at $597. So that's a 42.71% gain overall in your investments on this particular booster box. That's a really good gain, a really strong gain overall when it comes down to the performance of this particular set. Great looking overall. I love Unified Minds. It's one of my favorite sets when it comes down to it, right behind Cosmic Eclipse in that last tag team era set. So I got Cosmic Eclipse and then Unified Minds, my second one. Definitely a strong performing set in my opinion. The tag teams were really good. The Mewtwo collaboration in that particular booster box, great. It's got a great shelf appeal also. Overall, I really do enjoy this set, and I think it's a really strong contender for futuristic growth in the Pokemon TCG moving forward in your investments for 2024. I think the Unified Minds is just starting. A lot of these tag team sets are just starting, and they will continue to move forward and do really well in the next upcoming year and possibly the years after. So once again, number 5 going to be Unified Minds, moving in to number 4. All right, guys, thanks for joining me at number 4. Number 4, we've got one from Black and White era with Emerging Powers having some good push here coming into the end of the year. We started the year off on this particular one at $1,175, and we've gone to $2,100. That's a really good gain overall, and it's all been done in the last 5 months. So Emerging Powers all of a sudden really has a big push when it comes down to it. Overall, though, from what I've seen in that particular set, that's been one that stood out to me. There's one other set in Black and White that stands out to me also. I think are both really good sets in general, but this one has been making a great push here in the end of 2023, the last quarter and a half, and it's gone up quite well. We're looking at a 44.05% gain on this particular set. that is a really good game on the booster box when you're seeing that on a really old booster box too. This isn't something that's like a super modern booster box or an ultra modern booster box. This is more of your getting into your vintage or later years modern, older modern stuff that's really starting to disappear. People have opened a lot of it's disappearing. There wasn't much print at that point in time. Pokemon was really at a really slow period in that black and white era. It's probably been voted more times than anything the worst era of Pokemon, which there have been several polls on that throughout time. It always seems to come back to black and white, but overall, we do see a booster box from that era pushing into that number 4 spot with a 44% gain. Once again, great gain overall. If you do like black and white and you do have emerging powers, you did purchase it a couple years ago, it's done really well, and it's continued to push forward in this year. Will it continue next year? We'll see. Like I said, a lot of this growth was in the last quarter and a half of the year. So the last 4 or 5 months of the year have really been the push for emerging powers to take this number 4 spot. Moving in to number 3. All right, guys, here we are at number 3, and it's going to bring up a WotC era box with Team Rocket. That's right, Team Rocket has made its appearance here on the list, the number 3 spot. So at the beginning of the year, Team Rocket, a lot of the early WotC stuff, Jungle Fossil, Team Rocket, all kind of seen a little bit of a dip in sales. Team Rocket was selling for about $5,000 to $5,100 a box there in early 2023. And by the end of 2023, we were already back up to $9,000 in this particular box. So from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, it was just kind of a slow growth back up from the losses that we saw from the boom in 2020 and 2021. We've seen this box kind of settle down, and now it's kind of moving back up in that upward direction. This had a 44.44% gain. Once again, a really solid gain for a booster box at this price. Overall, with the vintage feel to this particular box, for myself, I do love the Team Rocket. It was one of my favorite sets back in the day, along with Fossil. And once again, it's doing a little bit of a resurgence here, coming back into 2023, going into 2024. Just all year, it's been a nice steady growth line. We've been seeing a nice trending up. Do I think it's going to continue to do that going into 2024? More than likely. I don't see any reason for this to really backtrack. It's not like we're getting reprints at this point in time, but it's just been a nice slow track up, recovering from those 2020, 2021 drops after everything kind of dropped out. So once again, we're seeing some really good growth in older sets in Pokemon TCG, and this one with a 44.44% gain is a good example of that. Moving in to number 2. All right, guys, before we go any further, I just want to remind you to hit that subscribe button if I earned your subscription. If you like this kind of content, this takes a lot of work. Pulling all this data, building it all up into a spreadsheet, and actually putting this data out there is a lot of work. So if you could, hit that subscribe if you do enjoy this content. Also, in the comments, let me know what other top 5s or 10s would you like to see added to the channel? What kind of information or data would you like to see? Put it in the comments below. It'd be greatly appreciated to hear what you guys are looking for when it comes down to these top 10s to show you a direction in the Pokemon TCG. Also, all the data, all the high lows, the percentage gains and losses of these particular booster boxes are going to be in the membership. So if you guys do want to know all the data and all the collection that went into this particular works, definitely pay the 99 cents if you could, please. It helps the channel out, it helps me grow, and it gives you the access to these kind of data sets where you can actually see where everything's going. If you're trying to find out if, XY did really well, or if Sun and Moon, or if Heart Gold, Soul Silver was the hot area, then you could see all the data and maybe see a collection of this information. So once again, the 99 cents gets you cool emojis, join the chat, have some fun, get into the backside, be able to see this kind of information, this data sets. I definitely want to give those to members because, hey, you guys are paying me 99 cents a month to be part of the membership, and this data is really great for you to be able to maybe make decisions for your investment or where you want to put your money after seeing how it went in 2023. Now, with that being said, let's go on to number 2. All right, guys, here we are at the number 2, and it's going to be Base Set 2. Base Set 2 fell into the number 2 spot. Once again, another one of those kind of dropped down after 2021 boom. We just saw continuous drops. This went on all the way down at the end of 2022, down to almost $5,000, just under. By the beginning of 2023, it was already back up to 55, so it was already making a little bit of resurgence at that point in time. And currently, we are seeing sales around $9,999, all the way to around 11. Last sale that was put up for the end of the year was $10,000 on this particular box on eBay, and that gives us a 45% gain. Let's get a fantastic gain for 1 year on a WotC box, especially at that price. That price is a huge price point, and that's where you start getting that harder to sell items. But once again, we're seeing quite a few sales of Base Set 2 throughout the year. Overall, it's been a really strong performing set when it comes down to a WotC era set. And all year, once again, just like Team Rocket, we've seen a nice, slow, gradual gain. Went from 55, then there were sales around 6, and then there were sales around 7, all the way back up to that 10, 11 range. So overall, been seeing some really good, smooth gains in this particular set. And this is a perfect example of a WotC era set still performing extremely well. But if you were patient and bought it around that $5,000 range and watched it, it's been maturing very nicely now as the hobby kind of matures itself. People are willing to spend on these higher end objects to order to get some really good gains or have them for their own personal collections, which of course increases the value. Plus the number of them still being open. How many of these WotC boxes do we still continually see open on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok, on Instagram? It's just continuous. So once again, the supply isn't replenishing. We're not getting reprints. So as these disappear, the value will continue to move up. And that's just going to be a continuing case with a lot of these WotC era sets as time moves forward and continues to be opened for people's enjoyment. Moving on to number 1. All right, guys, here we are in the number 1 spot. We finally made it, and that spot belongs to Team Up. That's right. Sun and Moon Team Up has made it into the number 1 spot with a beginning of $882. We ended in December 25th with $17.22 for a sales price, and that gives us a 48.78% gain on Team Up. That's a fantastic gain. Great growth overall, really good push on that particular set, and it's done extremely well. If you guys put your money on Team Up at the end of 2022, you should be very excited that that was the top performing booster box of 2023. Once again, most of that growth came right in the middle of the year when we saw the Team Up cards really explode with them tag team cards and Gengar, Mimikyu. A lot of the other Team Up cards just started to explode, bringing Tag Team Up because it was also one of the biggest short printed sets in that Sun and Moon block. Overall, it's done extremely well. Almost a 50% gain. If I had taken the recorded number or the high back in November, the beginning of November of 2023, it would have been over 50. It was like $1,976 was the top sale of Team Up. It's kind of retracted a little bit. It did shoot up. Tag teams are kind of settling a little bit. The prices are kind of dropping, and we are seeing that with some of the Team Up sets and tag team sets that they're starting to drop. So tag team sets are Team Up, Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, and Cosmic Eclipse. All those sets have kind of settled just a little bit. Not much, and I don't think they're going to settle a ton, but I think that they were going to settle a little bit, and that's where we're kind of seeing. Do I think it's going to be a top performer in 2024? No, I don't think that this set's going to do it in 2024. I think the set's pretty much going to be stagnated a little bit now with that kind of growth on it and that kind of an explosion. There's really going to have to be a big insurgence for that Sun and Moon tag team sets in order to bring Team Up even further. So just keep that in mind. It will not be, I don't think it will be the top performer in 2024. It's not likely, not impossible, but not likely. So definitely, if you're looking for next year, look for something else. Look for the other areas that may be doing well. So that being said, I'm going to just do a recap real quick at the end for you guys from the top 15. All right, guys, so I'm going to go from the top 15 to the top 5. I think that that's a fair way of doing it, just so you guys can see what sets were in here. If you do want all the data, of course, that will be in the membership. I do give that to the members of the channel just so that they can get this information for themselves as a bonus for supporting the channel. Of course, it's greatly appreciated that they're willing to do that. So, starting at number 15 was Plasma Storm. Number 14 was Skyridge. Number 13 was Chilling Rain. Number 12, Gym Challenge. Number 11, Unbroken Bonds. Number 10, Cosmic Eclipse. Number 9, EX Hidden Legends. Number 8, Gym Challenge First Edition. Number 7, here's your Evolving Skies. Actually was at number 7. And number 6 is going to be your Ultra Prism. So on top of top 5, that's what you're looking at to finish out the top 15. Overall, the percentage gains were, the lowest one at number 15 was 32%, and then it went up from there. So 32% gain on Plasma Storm, and then, of course, it continued to gain up from there all the way up to that 48.78%. So once again, there's some really good growth currently in a lot of the older booster boxes. There are a couple Sword and Shield ones hanging around in there, a lot of it in the Sun and Moon era. But otherwise, we are seeing some really good growth even in the older vintage-style booster boxes. All the way back in the EX era, Skyridge and WotC are all doing really well, you know, at that point in time. So once again, we are seeing some resurgence in some of the older things. Some of the more expensive stuff is doing extremely well. Once again, that's where I kind of talk about people are starting to mature in this hobby, and they're starting to become a little bit better at deciding where to put money, where good investments are, where good long-term investments are, where the opportunities are to make some really good money. So once again, guys, thanks you for watching. Hopefully you appreciate this. If you do like this kind of content, be sure you hit that subscribe. I'm going to be doing a little bit more for this. Once again, definitely check and put down in the comments what other top 5s would you like to see. Other than that, if you do like this kind of content, check out the 2 videos at the end. And we'll see you on the live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time here on Northwoods TCG. See you then.